Okay, seeing quorum and that the time has arrived, the chair opens up the meeting of the Mashpee Planning Board for 116 Great Neck Road North in Mashpee. We're being recorded and broadcast live on local channel 8. We're also being streamed live at the Town of Mashpee website, www.mashpeema.gov/channel-8. Just to let everybody know, Dale just texted me. He'll be here in 4.5 minutes. And I'd like to start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and we have a set of minutes from September 4th, 2024. And I've read them, and I don't have any edits or additions. So I'd entertain a motion to accept the minutes of September 4th as presented.
So be.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Oh, okay, Michael abstains. Okay. Next thing, old business signature. So we can't start the public hearing until 7:10, so. Do you want me to do something else? Do you want me to do my report?
Yeah,
go ahead.
Okay, my report. So I went to the One Cape. I had my mask on because I got sneezed on like 5 times, so I didn't want to, if I have any germs, I'm not going to spread them. But I went to a couple of sessions. And one was about safely traveling on Cape Cod. And the Cape Cod Commission has, and it's through the state, they've started Vision Zero Action Plan. And so I passed out the flyer plus the survey, and you can go online to do the survey. It's kind of the state has to redo its road plan, or the Cape Cod Commission has to redo their road plan every 4 years. So I've asked for them to come. They've just started launching this, and I've asked them to come at 6 o'clock at one of our meeting nights. So I'll let you know. And we'll just have them zoom in, do the little thing, the spiel about what Vision Zero is. It's basically looking at traffic patterns from the safety point of view to really reduce the number of injuries and fatalities to 0 statewide.
It's
So
actually a national,
is it that's, yeah.
yeah, they didn't admit it.
So they've hired a consultant, and to tap into this money, you have to do an action plan. But the Cape Cod Commission, as our regional planning entity, is doing the plan for all 15 towns. So once that plan is done, Mashpee and all the other towns on the Cape will qualify for these funds. So this is kind of a big deal. So I'm going to have them zoom in, either the consultant or the person from the Cape Cod Commission, zoom in and take public comment. And if you notice, the advisory committee, the first person on there is Colton Atkinson. So he's a resident who has come before us in public comment about the bicycle stuff, right? There's also LaToya Green from the Wampanoag tribe. So there's some people on the advisory committee that have a Mashpee connection, so that's good. And other things from my report is the Zoning Board of Appeals is sending me their agendas. I'm assuming that's so that we can comment on these things if we want. So you can take one and pass it over. Other things is we did get some correspondence from a resident, I think his name is Eric Clapper, right?
Yeah, that was a
Yep.
couple of meetings ago.
Yeah, so I called him today. He has some suggestions about beefing up our zoning bylaw with respect to buffers. He abuts industrial property, and there was a ZBA decision, and He felt that some things should be written down in more detail. So we talked about that a little bit. I'm going to talk to him in a couple of weeks after I look at, he gave me some suggestions about other towns. And I said that I would talk to Tom Fadala about that a little bit. He's also he's working with the building commissioner to make sure the special permit that was granted on the abutting property, the property abutting his home, all the conditions are met. So I made that phone call. Also, under my activities, I did report that testimony about the possible attractive nuisance in the Aquay Highlands subdivision to the building commissioner. And I got back to the two gentlemen from Oyster Way, Jeff Tomchik and Mark Kahn, who gave us testimony about an A&R. And I let them know that town council said the planning board can't rescind it. So, and I didn't.
Board can't what?
The planning board, once we do an A&R, we can't rescind it.
Right.
Unless the
But
owner
that-
comes back.
We can't rescind it, but that doesn't make those lots buildable.
Correct. Correct.
Because they're, right from the beginning, when the planning board originally approved that in
Yeah.
the 70s, right on the plan, it says not separate building lots.
Right, and they've been in touch with you
Yeah.
about this, and I think
All of that.
Rodney and the building commissioner. So they did clarify, they weren't looking for action from us, but they wanted to report to us what was going on. And then I have on Friday a meeting with Rodney, first thing in the morning, about the planning department staff, recruiting new staff for the planning board.
Please. I'm halfway through my contract. It's caused me to miss an entire month of no rain, beautiful weather.
I'm sorry. Thank you for helping out. I'll, touch base with him about the LCP. I was around commission staff all day, so I was letting them know that we submitted the LCP to them for review.
Have you reviewed it? I mean, is this a version that the planning board approves?
Not yet.
Well, then why is it sent to the commission?
Yeah,
Because
is it-
the way the process works is it goes to the commission after.
We wanted their preliminary review to make sure we're on the right track.
Okay. You decide what the right track is.
Right, exactly, yep. And also, I've been, hovering over the final approval of the housing production plan, right? So I've been whenever there's a meeting on the calendar of the Affordable Housing Committee, I've been going. Well, there hasn't been a meeting in 2 months, and now I know why. There's been several resignations from the committee, so they don't have quorum.
It was really the former chairman that was the big pusher on that. He was sending me the agendas all the years I was retired.
So anyways, the Board of Selectmen will have to appoint several members to that committee in order to have quorum again. So if there's a resident of Mashpee who's interested in affordable housing, I strongly recommend you get in touch with the town manager's office and see what that committee is all about. So that's my report. Okay. So that took us to 7:10.
Oh, I'm glad your clock is faster than mine.
Sorry.
7:10 right there.
7:10. I'm looking for the,
That one's 7:09, but it is usually a little bit fast.
Mary, with regard to your report, if I can ask, is there any movement on the part of the Charter Review Committee to change from, to allow people who are elected to be,
why don't I cover that under board members' committee and reports?
okay?
Yeah,
whatever
I'll
you
do
wanna
that
cover.
then. But Tom, I thought you had a public meeting notice in our
I
packet.
did. The piles of them over there, should be in your packet right after the minutes.
Thank you. Michael saved the day. All right, so seeing that the
Have them
appointed,
right behind the minutes is where they're.
I told you I had it right here.
oh, it's just so short, okay. See, the appointed time has arrived. The chair opens up the 7:10 meeting. Public hearing.
Yes, it is. Public
The
hearing.
applicant is David J. Hirsch of E.J. Prescott Incorporated. The location is Wags Road, off Route 28 between Dare Crossing and Stop and Shop Gas Station. The request is renaming of Wags Road to Prescott Way under the provisions of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 85, Sections 3A and 3B. And I'll read into the record the Mashpee Planning Board public hearing notice under the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 85, Sections 3A and 3B. The Mashpee Planning Board will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, September 18th, 2024, at 7:10 at the Mashpee Town Hall, 16 Great Neck Road North, to change the name of Wags Road to Prescott Way. And that was submitted by Mary E. Wagon, Chair, Mashpee Planning Board, and the publication dates were Friday, August 30th, 2024, and Friday, September 6th, 2024.
Notice the backside is the letter requesting the change.
So why don't I recognize the project proponent and explain what you would like us to do?
Good evening, my name is David Hirsch. I'm the New England Operations Manager for E.J. Prescott. We purchased that building on 14 Wags Road a few months ago. It was owned by Wags Realty, and that's why it was, I assume the name Wags Road was attached to that. And now that the Prescott family owns it, we'd like to change it the Prescott Way.
Okay. So we got some correspondence regarding this matter.
Yeah.
Do you want to take us through that, Tom, or?
I didn't get any correspondence. I'm not sure
I
what
thought
you're
that
talking about.
the committee.
The correspondence was the address committee, yeah. The
Yeah.
address committee said, basically, the road name Prescott Way has been approved by the address working group to replace Wags Road. If approved by the planning board, it is incumbent upon the owner of the property to pay for the cost of the new sign, which is ordered by the town DPW. And, yeah, this is coming from the 9/11 guy. I will, 911, I will defer to Catherine Laurent, the DPW director, on the actual cost of the new street sign. So, I believe the way it works is you pay for the sign and they install it.
That's fine.
Yeah, but talk to Catherine about that.
So that's good. So they're just checking to make sure the names aren't duplicate of something else or could get easily confused with something else, and they're saying that it
Now the
is.
fire department get notified too, right?
Yep, Jack Phelan was notified, and he didn't have any comments.
Nope,
Okay.
it's all part of the email chain you've got in your hands, yeah.
So does any planning board member have any comments?
This is a commercial operation, correct? It's like,
Yes,
it's like a 6,000 square foot building?
correct. 6,000 square foot building. We do wholesale pipe and waterworks materials.
And you do what?
Pipe and waterworks materials, drainage pipe.
Okay.
May sound familiar because they were trying to
Certainly
get it
sounds
on a different
familiar.
location, but they found a better deal.
Okay. I would have no objection to this.
Okay.
Fine with it.
I'll open it up to the public for public comment. Let the record show there's nobody here besides us,
Other than the applicants.
the applicants, and Chrissy. Okay, no public comment. I'd accept a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, so do we approve the renaming of Wags Road to Prescott Way? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you all.
I have to nothing. Okay, so that part took 3 minutes, but
Yeah?
sorry about the 10.
Have a great evening.
All right, bye. All right, so now the chair will entertain any public comment. Okay, there is none. Old business, signature of special permit for New Seabury Homes LLC, Osprey Court.
Okay, I've got 3 copies of the special permit that was endorsed by Dennis.
Thank you,
In
Dennis.
front of the town clerk who notarized it. And let me just, put it in here. Be in order. There we go. 1, 2, 3. And, just want to check something here. It's,
I have a gavel tonight. I have a gavel.
No. That's what Tom was.
Is that for Tom?
I'm just checking to see if your signatures have to be notarized, but apparently not. So, let's bring it around. Yeah, well, it would, like, work. All right, well, who should I pick on first? I guess I could just.
I think I signed it in the office.
No,
Oh, I thought I did.
no, this is, you signed the plan itself. This
Oh.
is the-
Okay.
You guys signed that one.
That's Mary signs the top line.
Usually, yep.
Yeah, it's-
Is this for Osprey Court?
Yeah.
Osprey Court.
Okay, I was just gonna ask you to send me that. That's why you can't send it to me.
what?
The
Oh.
decision.
Oh.
Wait till it gets scanned and.
Let's see, did you vote on this? No?
No.
Okay.
It was,
In the big shop?
it was.
You get to sign it twice now. Yeah.
I think Dale did that. Yeah, he was there.
You were there. Yep. I think Rob, too.
Yeah. But Mike wasn't here, right?
Mike recused himself.
All right. Oh, one more, yeah. Dale, one more.
Oh, sorry. He needed a block pen.
Brad, wonderful occasions, were you going to sign something?
I know, Rob.
You
Woo-hoo.
probably got more experience than most of the planning board members, I think, other than Mary. And- Jesus,
Oh,
Dennis.
Dennis.
Sorry about Dennis. 1992.
Yes.
Really?
Oh my God, that's so funny.
You've been planning my life.
I was in the stop shop,
Yeah,
but this guy's looking at me.
yeah, yeah,
He says,
No, you
"Your
got
name,
two of
Dennis?"
them, then.
yeah.
Oh, it's
I worked
three.
for him 40 years ago.
Oh my
And he
goodness.
said, you haven't changed.
You haven't changed a bit.
No, I go, oh, okay.
That's
It
great.
was a blessing, yeah.
Mike hasn't changed a bit either. Other roles, but the walks around his shorts in the middle of winter.
Yep.
It's great. All right, so there's no new business under board engineer report, except a motion by roll call vote to add the following two invoices to our agenda for consideration for payment. Invoice number 2024-2226 and invoice number 2024-2227.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. By roll call vote, Karen?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Dennis?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
Mary Wagon, aye. Okay.
So is there any paperwork that goes with that vote, or do I just gotta take notes?
I just have the.
Well, no, these are the bills, yeah.
Those are the invoices.
Yep, Madam Chair, just
I-
for clarification, and I will send updates. I'll email you and Tom updates tomorrow, but again, the attention line is evidence that a
Oh.
Tom. However,
It's okay.
2226 erroneously says 474 Main Street. You've already paid me for that. That's Osprey Court. So this is a invoice for Osprey Court, and I will make sure it gets corrected. I was doctoring up the invoice for 474 Main Street.
So what goes away?
So that one stays. Casper Circle's correct, but the one, 2226, 474 Main and the 31 in Schuman is Osprey Court. So those are the services we provided for Osprey Court.
And the total remains the same?
Total
six-
remains the same, so everything's the same except the title, the actual
Okay.
construction site. And I want to update the board that the construction has started.
Yeah.
I was there on site, Dennis, you know, because you're near there, but they actually started site clearing. I was there
All right.
on Friday morning. There's really not much else, because they needed to get trees out of the way and some stumps, and then they're gonna build, Pastore Construction is the site contractor, and Kevin Mahoney called me to let me know ahead of time, as he should, and all is well. So he's gonna be installing the construction entrance, and they'll start doing some more work on it for me to look at next week.
Yeah, it's neat and clean right now. It
Yeah,
really is.
I told him, Dennis, make sure you sweep the road
Right.
and follow up after your sites, your subcontractors. He completely agreed and understood. He's very good about that.
Right.
Should they put some stone, like, right when they come off the road?
So that's a construction entrance that we always, crushed stone construction entrance, and he doesn't want to do that until the guys are done yanking out all
All
the
the trees,
trees.
right.
Once he's done that, then he's gonna go in and he'll be stripping loam and doing other things. He'll be doing that.
Yeah, because otherwise it'd be the.
It'll get dragged out into the street, so he just didn't want to do that. So I said, okay, I'll relent for that for a week. Go ahead and finish what you're doing, and then move on.
By the way, I found out about that, and I told Tamara, well, you know, technically, you can't do that until a special permit's recorded that authorized that subdivision, and, but it was already happening, so I told her to maybe put up an invisibility cloak or something like that next to the road.
I think they can clear trees. They really can't do anything else, right? So
I don't know, they got a tree permit?
they don't need a tree permit. You know, they want to cut trees in their own land, they can cut trees in their own land, but, you know,
Probably got a point
technically, you're right. It would
Yeah.
be helpful to have all your permits in place. I think the spirited intent was that they had a contractor could start.
Yeah, and they recorded, and in your packets, you have the recorded plan.
Endorsed and recorded
page
plan,
and all that,
right.
Yeah.
But they're gonna need a tree bylaw. They're gonna have to follow that once they divide up the lots.
Right. So there's some plantings that are on a plan, we'll just have to make sure they do that. The second project that you already know about, that I wasn't here in September, because of course I was away, is Casper Circle. So we closed out that project just before I left, and during the time I was gone, I was able to read that, review that as-built, final as-built plan, and send an email the night of your meeting on the 4th.
6:46 PM.
And I just happened to catch it like, oh, God, they're about to do this, and I can't remember where I was with my father and my wife and
Somewhere in Venice,
daughter.
right?
I was somewhere around Venice, right. But I saw it, and I went, oh, I gotta sit down and type this out, just so that everybody can close it out, and I'm glad that got done. The last item that I'm inspecting is not a planning board, but it's a zoning board project. It's on 77 Echo Road off of Run 30. It's a small commercial project. It's a site that's basically clearing an area for rectangular box bin storage for mulch and stone and other landscape materials. So it's under construction right now, is there today. Their contractor unfortunately didn't call me right away, so I actually looked at it last week, but he's been all apologetic and helpful, so it's gone very, very well. So I'll be reporting, I meant to call Marion Romero just to give her an update before. She knows, because she's on all the emails, traffic between us all, but Marion and Ron Bobby, the zoning board chair. But those are the only three efforts that we have underway right now.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Ed?
Oh, excuse me, I shouldn't say that. I was also, last week, the final thing is Aquay Highlands.
Yes, thank you. I was going to bring that up.
And I brought that file with me, so,
There's an email with 8 attachments in your packet there from.
Yeah.
correct, so I have your copy, I did print out the copy, I
Did you
did,
get the email? You were on the email chain?
I did, yes.
Okay,
And
okay,
and
so
I
you've already seen
highlighted and read quite a bit of it. I was on site last Thursday afternoon with Mr. Moran. I must note that the area that he reseeded and the area that I wanted to check sometime at the end of the fall was growing nicely and in good shape. So at the end of our last official duties, you voted to approve release of the tripartite agreement. I asked for a surety of $2,000. And just in case we had to seed it, if he walked away and we'd have to seed it, loam and seed it, it would cover that small area. He did all of that, and it got tied up, I think. It got lost in the transition with Evan Lehrer leaving the site, leaving the job. So the $2,000 surety was never provided. He admits that, he doesn't hide that. It's in his email as well. However, the performance is
Done.
is looking fine. I really want to confirm it in another month. It'll be fine, middle of October. And then I can just say, yep, it's all done, and then you don't have to get a $2,000 check from him. But he's done his part. He's actually been continuing to water. We had a really tough, as you know, August, a really dry August, so that the season hasn't been very helpful, but it's about to change, I'm sure. We'll certainly get the rain. And then I walked the area we went and inspected together the area of Blue Castle Drive that is not paved. And I must say that I divided up into two sections. One section is down towards Great Neck Road South, where he was required to build, and he did install, crushed stone swales, drainage swales, and then he rebuilt them last October. And then the other section is closer to the new subdivision area, new construction, which is a combination of gravel and old pavement that is kind of broken up. I realize that the neighbors are trying to get that addressed. It looks like from the latest correspondence that there is some evidence that there is an HOA established, that some of the homeowners there accepted that with correspondence in March of last year and in email correspondence of this year, talking with Mr. Moran about paying for pothole repairs. I did point out, 3, 4, 5 potholes that I asked him to consider making repairs as a good faith effort. He said he would consider that. So I haven't really spoken to him. It's silent in this documentation we got today or yesterday. He also texted me today to make sure I saw it. I said, yep, Jacques, I saw it. I printed it, but I haven't read it. I plan to read it before the hearing tonight. So where I stand on this job, on the project, is he has done everything we've asked him to do. We asked him to comply with the letter of the law, with the tripartite agreement. He did maintenance last year when he was required to do it under pressure from me and from others. Sure, there was some, he says that he had done some maintenance the prior years. I wasn't present for that. Maybe it certainly wasn't as significant and as fully comprehensive on Blue Castle Drive as he did last September and October. I thought, a great job. None of it was permanent in that regard, so we put down a recycled asphalt material, compacted it down. Really, the site really looked great, but it wasn't going to last a year. And you go out there today, you see evidence of some of it and evidence of the potholes. It didn't last. And you put down more of it, it's not going to last either. A couple inches, inch and a half of that processed material, again, to pay to do that, doesn't seem like a really smart thing to do until you are ready to actually pave it. I would wholeheartedly disagree with the argument, and the owners of the neighborhood will probably be angry with me for saying this, that road is inaccessible. The fire department and any emergency vehicle in the town can access Blue Castle Drive. If your car and my car can access it, may not be comfortable, then they can certainly access it with an emergency vehicle. So the question, in my opinion, is, has he met the letter of the law? Has he met the requirements of the tripartite agreement? Is there some part of this that we need to kind of iron out before full release? And indeed, is it already released? What obligation does he have to continue? And it's moral obligation, perhaps, but I don't think there's any legal obligation. What I also noticed that the DPW director, Ms. Laurent, did mention that the residents have requested that Blue Castle Drive be, as part of a petition, to become a public way. She's kind of waiting for your input to decide to move that forward to the next step. I would absolutely wholeheartedly recommend that you tell her that the road should indeed be, they should continue to proceed with making that a public way at the petition. There's no need to hold that up.
It's up to the owners. We have nothing to do with it.
Correct, but she's waiting for you, the planning board, to tell her whether the contractor, right, that the contractor has any more obligation to do anything else.
Right.
And there were some things that she and I looked at in June that he has done, that Mr. Moran has done. That's some maintenance, some pretty much routine maintenance in the detention basins, which he took care of. And he hadn't done any other routine maintenance on Blue Castle Drive, but he had done it the previous fall again, not a permanent solution.
So, ain't it, once he turned it over to the association, they're supposed to take care of that road. That was part of.
And that's what their dues is for.
Yeah,
I
so-
guess, really, as of March of last year, that was the case, even though in September and October of last year, he did all his repairs. So I felt like he was trying to work with us. I think he was trying to be cooperative. I think he also had to finish out some projects there, some houses there that he had underway. He has removed all the spurious miscellaneous equipment that has been there, virtually all of it. A big part of the loam pile is gone. Landscape materials are gone. So the site is in pretty good shape overall, in my opinion. And,
So that area that we got the photos of, that you said it's recycled asphalt, and it's not his responsibility to do the final asphalting on that?
it is not.
No?
Well, then, if you guys are fine, I'll email Catherine Laurent and say we don't feel he has any more obligations on
You
the,
know, it's up to the
He doesn't have
association.
any more obligations, it's just a Band-Aid, what Jock is doing. Every year, you have to do it. The
That's-
whole
That's
answer.
what
all
the
they did
special
before.
permit calls
What's that?
for.
That road was horrible before those houses came in there. And that's all they agreed to. He was just gonna maintain it year over year. Then once it turned to the
Once HOA
association,
took over, they're
that they took
responsible.
over. So they're the ones that's supposed to maintain it.
Obviously, somebody there really wants
The
the.
homeowners, to their
That's the
credit, they're
answer.
trying to, he asked for them to have a HOA annual meeting and to elect officers and board of directors, right? And they just said, no, we don't think it's proper or
They didn't
critical
come
at
to
this
the
time.
meeting.
Correct. They
Bottom
just,
line.
they told him respectfully they're not going to attend the meeting because they didn't think it was appropriate yet. They didn't think he was done.
Oh, 'cause they had the 3 lots.
That was
up there.
earlier this year. That was this spring. So he's finished that part, right? So we went from June, July, and then now into August, where I'd have to look up the actual meeting that you all
Well,
approved.
this whole thing is between him and the association. It's really out of the planning board's hand.
Well,
We already
it's been
signed
an ugly
off.
situation, but I think he's done everything that
Yeah.
he has to do. At this point, we should say yes, that he did,
Yeah.
and let them take the damn thing forward with the town.
I agree with Mike.
I asked him to consider patching the potholes with processed material or even an asphalt cold patch that would stay there longer. He said he would think about it, not too expensive. But that would be the only thing that's, again, a goodwill measure.
Okay.
That's up to him.
Yeah.
all right,
He
well, I'll
didn't
let-
respond yet, that he didn't commit to it, he didn't say no, but he didn't commit to it either last week.
No,
So-
he's not gonna submit to anything.
So he wanted to look at, and he said, I'm gonna put something together, and of course, that's what happened with the big, the lengthy email yesterday. And I thought, he thoughtfully put together a case on what he's done and what the homeowners are required to do, and what the homeowners have done. And I think the homeowners know that there's some responsibility on their part. I think their path to success, the homeowners' path to success is absolutely to get this to become a public way. I think they should have taken advantage of a previous offer by Mr. Moran to have it paved
Yeah.
under his watch at a certain price where he would distribute that cost. Now it's gonna be a lot more.
That's a different bunch of people we're talking about.
it's
The people
correct.
actually along the dirt part of the road refused to give him easements because the road wiggles in and out of the layout.
Correct,
And
which
without
I
getting
didn't
an
know.
easement, he couldn't work on it.
Right, at the end of the road, apparently there was, that corner lot is not, the road is not where it's supposed to be, so there's been some.
All the way
Oh,
up.
that one, you're talking about the corner of Great Neck Road South.
Correct.
That owner of that corner did give him an easement.
Correct.
So
The
the road was
building permit
relocated into
on
the
some of the
proper layout.
houses should
Just
have
the
never
rest
been
of it.
issued.
No, because the road went like that.
Because they were.
Right, it did, it
The
moved
road
it.
layout,
was in-
it's-
And I didn't know that. Now,
Place,
according,
yeah.
I have to look at this correspondence. Mr. Moran, I think, owns 4 lots still.
Yes.
And he's decided, he told me personally that he wasn't planning to take any, action on those lots right now. He's taking a break with his family. So, he's still gonna own them, so he'll still be part of the HOA as a homeowner. But because he still owns property there, I don't think the HOA should think he still is the developer and/or responsible to do any more maintenance there.
Okay.
I think I can understand them not wanting to have an HOA meeting and not to establish directors until final paving was done, until final punch list items were taken care of, and that has been done. So, the final little piece was seating and signage, and that's all been done this summer. So,
Okay, so I'll let the director of DPW know that we don't see that there's any other work that the planning board is waiting for on the road, and if she wants to help the neighborhood with the petition for the town to take the road, that she should feel free to go ahead. How's that?
Ed, do you know whether that was 3 inches of pavement or 4 inches of pavement in the subdivision?
in the subdivision, I think it was 3.5.
It would be 3.5 if it was new, right, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, under the planning board regulations, but Catherine has decided that she wants 4 inches of pavement wherever she takes over a road.
Yeah.
I mean, my roads were,
The road
Okay,
was
but-
paved when I showed up to do the first
mine is
inspection.
gonna last 150
Charlie was
years
the
with the
one.
4 inches of asphalt in
Yeah,
a residential
right.
area.
I can look at the, I know that there was an 1.5 top course put on it. When I got there, the binder pavement was down. First time I inspected the site and saw it, the binder pavement was down. I gotta assume it was 2 inches. It might have been 2.5, so you might be,
Charlie was the one who
Well, but-
inspected that.
yeah, Charlie did all
Yeah,
of
and
that.
the planning board regs called for 3 inches, it didn't call for 4 inches, but Catherine came along when it was Pierre Vernier, I think, is when that first came up. She
Yeah.
made them.
Okay.
And I would,
Another
and I would
inch.
concur with Catherine that, you know, if you can get 4 inches, especially on a high-trafficked area, that's a
Which
great
that
idea.
isn't.
It isn't, so it's not that super critical, but on the plans themselves, which is probably what they decided to do, it was 2.25-inch binder and 1.25-inch top. But I know for a fact it was a 1.5-inch top, because that's conventional construction practice now. When you try to put 1 inch down, it's really tough. If you try to put 1.5 inches down, you're always gonna get an inch, okay? So that's the reason that I like to go 1.5 inches for a top course. So it's at 3.75 if I'm reading this right now. So
And now,
if we round up, that's 4.
that's
I mean,
4, yeah, right.
But it's a function of what was already there, and I don't think the town really has much of a choice in the matter.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
really?
so I did pass along that information that we got testimony in July about a attractive nuisance in that subdivision. I CC'd you on the email and you too, Tom. I sent it to the building commissioner. And so I said, if you need any help from Ed, get in touch with Ed, because you have the folder and all that stuff, so.
I did talk, Mr. Moran did say he spoke to the building commissioner.
Okay.
And the pile of dirt was the concern?
Yep.
The
Can
pile
I
of
just
loam?
interject before we finish?
Sure.
The email that I saw in this email chain that he sent us was referring to other kinds of junk on that same lot with the pile. Is that?
And that's all gone.
Care of?
That's all cleaned
That's all
up.
cleaned up, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There was equipment, there was various building materials. He's really, I think, done some housekeeping there that the residents really wanted, and that,
Yeah, that stuff was gone a little while ago. It was the pile that was a big issue.
correct, and the
One
pile,
pile's still there.
a part, maybe 20% of what it was before. And he was actually, it would have been gone sooner, except the company he had contracted with, this is kind of a sad story, but the story he gave me, he contracted with a company to do it, they backed out because their equipment broke, and they couldn't get somebody else to do it, so he had to wait to get somebody else to do it.
He has more excuses.
That's right, so, it's the way it goes, but, sometimes that happens, right?
Yeah.
But he did tell me, as I started to say, that he did speak to the building commissioner about the pile. He doesn't want anybody to consider that to be a safety issue, what have you. Part of the pile has weeds growing on it, so it's all stable, but he'll eventually get rid of that, because there's a lot there that he has to take care of.
Yeah,
So,
there's a lot.
he'll definitely be getting rid of that anyway, so there's some motivation behind that, but
Is that
it's a small.
topsoil?
Part of it is topsoil, yes.
Yeah.
Because, just so everybody knows, there is a town general bylaw that prohibits removing topsoil from the town of Mashpee. So if you're
Yeah.
gonna send it somewhere, better be in Mashpee.
Yeah, because I don't know how long you've been working here, but that was a problem down here on the Cape. Our topsoil was really thin, and it was getting scraped away and brought to other places.
Yeah, and that was in the bylaws before I even came in '84.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty old.
Yeah, that's pretty old.
Old as dirt.
40 years,
right.
yeah.
We got 2 invoices. I'd accept a motion to accept and approve payment of invoice number 2024-2226 as amended for the project location Osprey Court for the amount $6,068.82.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I'd accept a motion to approve invoice number 2024-2227 and approve the payment for the services provided at Casper Circle subdivision for the amount of $4,774.54.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
I would just need to ask you, Madam Chair, I'm not sure who to talk to, but Tom and I need to just talk to the right person on how to get them paid, because neither one of us know how to do that right now. So we'll have to figure out
I don't
an
even know
accounting.
how I get paid,
So
You get paid? I thought
he
you
just
were a
needs
volunteer.
to,
think
before
there's
we had Tom, and I asked him, just speak to Karen, she might be able to point you in the right direction. Karen Leslie, the sewer secretary, sewer department secretary.
it turns out that after a whole month here, I found out that Karen's actually the one that's putting through my paycheck, even though I send it up to the selectman's office, my timesheet. She's doing the pay, so maybe she'll do that.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anything else, Ed,
Yeah, I got a comment.
on,
Between these 2 bills, that's more than we ever paid Charlie Rowley in a year.
Oh, I know.
I know.
Charlie was bargain
He was
guy.
definitely,
Never raised his
definitely
rates.
undercharging for many years, and that was the way he operated. He's a tough act to follow. He's a really class act.
Yep.
okay, so we already did chair's report, town planner report. Anything, Tom?
Just that there's a few things that I added to your packets that weren't on the list there. The first thing was the wastewater report from South Cape Village. The nitrogen came in at 3.3 milligrams per liter.
Pretty
Okay.
small.
Yeah, it's
I
doing a
noticed
good
that.
job, especially for an amphidrome. It's not really that great. And then the other thing I added was Jacques Morin and his 8 attachments, so that's the biggest chunk in your back there. We got the request, there's only 4 articles on the town meeting warrant.
Yes.
And I checked to see if there's any road takings, and they never thought to let the planning board know about it, but there is a proposed road taking of Watson Drive. So I've proposed scheduling a public hearing for the October 16th at 7:20.
So I'd take a motion to approve that scheduling of that public hearing.
So be.
Is there a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, and the only other thing is I attached a copy of the state law, chapter 48, section 3, which regards what you can't do in zoning. No mention of number of bedrooms you can't do.
Okay. I'll save that
Talk
for
about
later.
materials or the interior size or whatever, but nothing about bedrooms you're
Okay.
prohibited from doing. And in any case, we'll do that in another session.
Anything else? If not, all right, I'll go.
That stuff,
Can
and
I ask-
you guys have signed your.
Did you want me to, Tom, you indicated you wanted me to look at this?
Yeah,
road taking plan?
I'm hoping that there's a full-scale plan in the selectman's office, and I just put this together after 4:30.
So the only thing missing that I would want to have on a plan like this is the drainage system
Yep.
that's here.
Yep.
And any other utilities that may be, that Cape and Islands may be aware of. I don't know when this was built, and I don't know what subdivision it was called. Maybe it was just called Watson Drive. And, there's some blow-up views on the second page here, the easement details that show the drainage easements, doesn't say what's in them. And so if the town's gonna take it over, if I'm Catherine Laurent at DPW, I'd wanna know what infrastructure is in the ground that I'm now going to be required to maintain. And that's the only thing missing that I would want Cape and Islands to add.
Well, you wouldn't normally see that on a taking plan. you'd see it in the construction, plans. If she's
construction
gonna
as-built.
Work on it, or an as-built of that, but it wouldn't get recorded as part of the taking. For some reason, all these road takers used to be approved and signed by both the planning board and the select board, and they've eliminated the planning board on these things. I don't understand that. But in any case, it's scheduled your public hearing, so you get your 2 cents in.
All right. I'd like to recognize Chris Ball. He has an announcement about broadcasting.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chris Ball, Mashpee TV. I'm trying to get the word out to everybody, especially those who watch all the meetings that are broadcast currently live, so that they know what's going on. Under the contract with Comcast, the town signed 2 years ago, we were to get an HD channel. That HD channel is now live. It's channel 1072. For the we don't know how long Comcast is going to keep it going, but you will still have channel 8 also. Channel 8 and channel 1072 will be the same. 1072 is high definition now.
Okay.
So that will be your high definition channel. To make best use of that high definition channel, we'll now have a cross section of everything we do. Not all the government meetings will be live on that channel, but you'll also see a lot of the community events that we cover on that channel, so that everybody gets a fair shake of that HD channel. In order to view that HD channel, first of all, you have to have Comcast, and you have to have their X1 box. The X1 box most of us have. The easiest way to tell if you have an X1 box is dial into 1072 at this time.
Right.
If you have it, you're all set. If you don't have it, you can do a couple of things. You can call 1-800-COMCAST and request that a tech come out and bring you X1 boxes. They will charge you, I believe it's $70 to come out. Or if you so inclined, you take your boxes, you go down to an Xfinity store and just swap them out. The charge you get for boxes now, which I believe for all of us is $9.95 a box, will not change because you got a different box. But you'll be able to see between what we've done in the control room here last spring and what this HD channel, you'll see a noticeable difference in both audio and visual. And, you know, we've worked hard on it, and I hope you all enjoy it. Thank you for your time.
So
Thank you.
does that mean I have to make sure my hair's combed?
And
better?
brush your teeth, Dennis.
Oh, okay. Some makeup too. Huh?
All right, thanks again.
All right, bye. Board committee reports. All right, Cape Cod Commission is hosting its One Cape event. It was today and it's tomorrow.
No, it was yesterday and today.
No,
You went yesterday, didn't you?
No, today.
You went today? I thought you were signed up for the 17th. Huh. That was the 17th and the 18th. Well, whatever.
Yep. So anyways, I did pass out the Vision Zero. I'm going to try to have them come in and take public comment about the new traffic action plan for the region. So I took a lot of notes. There's a lot of, they're covering stuff that we're going to need for our local comprehensive plan. And so once I get the links to the PowerPoint presentations and the videos, I'll share it with everybody so we can kind of keep that in mind. There was late in the day, there was a session on seasonal communities. So the Affordable Homes Bill, which is the housing bond bill, passed with 40 other policies and regulations passed as part of the funding. And one of them was establishing seasonal communities. So certain parts of the state are automatically seasonal communities. Mashpee would have to apply to be a seasonal community. It's supposed to give you relief from certain sections of the Affordable Home Act if you have a certain percentage of your housing stock is only used seasonally.
But do you know what the
Have it, Mary?
percentage is?
So the limit is 35%, so Mashpee is like 30, 27, depending on what you look at, it's like
We're
37
closer
to
to
30.
40, actually.
Yeah, it's whatever they're using, whatever HUD data they're using, we're below
Yeah.
that automatic threshold. But
Well,
You still have to-
HUD doesn't do seasonal.
No.
HUD does full, whether it's occupied year-round or not.
so if it's
That's
not
a little
occupied
bit-
year-round, that's what they're saying is seasonal. So there's definitions in the act that was passed for that. But Mashpee does not automatically qualify. We would have to apply for it. It would allow us to do some things quickly without a home rule petition up to the legislature. But we would also have to accept zoning for tiny homes. So it's,
Don't we already have that? I mean, everybody can build another home in their backyard, according to the thing that haven't got passed.
so the regulations about all this are coming out in December, so we'll watch that carefully and decide if we want to recommend the town go for that or not. So that's my Cape Cod Commission update.
Could I ask you a question,
yeah,
Mary?
sure.
Where can one get a copy of that new legislation you were just talking about?
It's the acts of 2024. I can send you the link, mass.gov. It's extremely difficult to read because it's
It's legislation, of course.
it's
They're always
legislation,
difficult
but
to read.
it's what do you call it? When you go to mass.gov, when you go to the legislation and what's been passed, it's like each section of the bill is on a separate page. There's no way to just download it all as one PDF. So that's as far as I got.
If you can send
but
the
this-
link, that'll be appreciated.
There's an awful lot of money involved in that, and each town gets 30, each town can have access to our new regional housing, shared housing office, which is being sponsored by Barnstable County. So you missed all of this, Tom. ARPA money came into the county, and the county,
Do you know which other
Study.
towns on Cape will automatically,
yeah, like P-Town, Truro, Eastham. It's like the Outer Cape, and then there's a point where the percentage doesn't automatically trigger it. Martha's Vineyard is automatically a seasonal community, and so isn't Nantucket.
yeah, well,
But there is a regional housing office now. Reedy Hammond from the Home Consortium manages it, and Bartlett Planning is the consultant. So we get two,
Barrett, you mean Barrett.
Barrett, sorry,
Yeah,
Barrett.
Bartlett's the tree guys.
So there's every other Tuesday, there's a 2-hour session that each town can send one representative to there. And I've asked them to summarize the Affordable Home Act with respect to all the money. It's $5.16 billion for construction of home. Some of it's homes. Most of it is, going to have a link to low, moderate income households. So there's some money that we need to keep our eyes on to make sure when it's our time to apply for it, we get it.
is there a time frame within which you have to apply?
It just got passed August 27th.
Okay.
So
Is
they
it
haven't-
mandatory that you build tiny homes?
If Mashpee applies to be a seasonal community, we have to adopt zoning for tiny homes.
Oh, so we have to,
Yeah. But you're right, it's like, it's an ADU, so, anyways, was a lot of changes to that housing bond bill at the last minute that nobody had public comment on. Oh.
That new office you mentioned, I mean, affordable housing has always been a part of the Cape Cod Commission's staff and jurisdiction. Are they like
Well,
replacing them?
we
or-
have more access to technical support. Town of Mashpee also gets 30 hours of technical assistance from Barrett Planning. But we need to assign a representative for them to be in touch with. So.
You've been happy with Judy's work?
So, anyways, that's that. Charter Review Committee, there was some discussion about the home rule. I think it's, I don't know, it's 43B. It's state legislation about home rule, right? And how you adopt a charter and how you amend a charter. So if there are any major changes that have to do with the select board, the town manager, and the legislative body, which in our case is town meeting, if there's any major changes, not like changing the name from Board of Selectmen to Select Board, but major changes like changes in term or how you're appointed / elected, or like your composition, the composition of the Select Board, that has to be done by a charter commission, not a charter committee, and a charter commission is elected. So there was this little conversation in the Charter Review Committee. What can we do and what we can't do? And town council came and advised us that most of the stuff we're talking about changing the charter is allowed being proposed by a committee, a Charter Review Committee. Some of the stuff we were thinking about under the section that has to do with town manager would necessitate a commission. But I think that the Charter Review Committee was like, they're not that important, you know, there were some nice to haves, but not vitally important. So you might see us just skip those. The other thing we learned is that the committee can propose changes to town meeting, but so can't a citizen petition of 10 signatures. So that was really interesting.
Ooh, that's a bombshell.
That is a bombshell. We were like, what? But our report, the Charter Review Committee's report goes to town meeting. The best, and there's nobody that can stop that. That gets presented to town meeting. The best way for it to be adopted is to have it coincide with warrant articles that get submitted in the normal way to the select board. So the report goes to town meeting and then the warrant articles too. That was the advice of town council. So that's what we're gonna do.
But it sounds like the warrant articles aren't automatic, you're saying the report is.
Correct.
But the selectmen can knock off some of the warrant articles if they wanted to.
Right. And that's how the petition, the citizens petition item came up, because the Charter Review Committee is 9 members. So you just have to get one more. If it was really controversial and you wanted to make sure it was on the warrant, you'd just do a citizens petition. But I think with 2 members of the select board on the Charter Review Committee, we're not going to see that. Hopefully not. So that's what's going on.
And was there some discussion about people who are elected participating more, or is that something that has to go through this commission? You know, for example, I've asked if I could be on committees. I can't be because I'm elected here, unless I were like a liaison. But apparently, if you're elected, you can't be appointed to any, right? Is that's a...
Dennis knows that for sure.
We have tons of vacancies in town, but you would think that if you change that, you would probably have more people participating, in my thought.
I agree with you, Mike, that happened to me.
It
Since
was
the
one of the
majority
worst
of
things
people
that
who
happened when they
participate
adopted
are
that
elected,
charter.
who will go on a committee.
I
Is
guess-
that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying if you're elected to a position, you can't be appointed to it.
Correct, but
What I'm-
that would open it
You'd
up.
like that to be struck.
Yeah, because I think there's tons of committees an elected person could sit on without a conflict of
I
interest.
shall bring that.
Well, that was one of the biggest problems with the charter when it came in, is that you had committees, like the sewer commission was myself, a planning board member, and a selectman, John Cahalan, which made awesome sense in terms of communication, you know, between the boards and all that. But we can't, he and John had to get off because they were elected to the planning board. and
I-
select-
Yeah, I
I
mean,
will
logically,
look it
to
up,
me, I
Ed.
understand the conflict
Now we
stuff.
know we can do it
But
by
it doesn't make any
citizens.
sense when there's so many
Position.
committees with so many vacancies,
Yeah.
there wouldn't be any conflict.
1, 2,
I've asked to be on
3,
several committees, but I
4,
can't be.
5, 6. We already have 8 signatures.
Anyways,
I have something for everybody that I'd just like to make you aware of that I just was made aware of on Monday. Chapter 40A has changed slightly to allow starter homes on lots that were previously merged. Have you heard about this?
Yes.
Okay. So the law apparently determined, the new amendment to Chapter 40A is that if lots, adjacent lots, were declared as merged, as the zoning laws in the town changed to increase the size of the lots, minimum size, if those lots were conforming at the time that they were created, they may be unmerged, and you can create a starter home of 1,850 square feet of heated space or
It's a
less.
starter home that's bigger than my 2-story house.
1,850 square feet of heated, and that doesn't include the garage, it's unheated, right? So heated space, which I think you're going to see. I know I'm already working on one project in Barnstable. It may be the first one in the state, but I think you're going to see some lots in town that
I would think so.
that would apply. Thousands in the
So-
Commonwealth, probably, this
Do
applies
we have to change our zoning bylaw
No.
for that? Okay.
No.
So that's good. We don't have to, now the ADU section,
Of that,
We
it
might
doesn't
have-
take effect until January, as my
we
understanding.
might have to change our zoning bylaw because of that. Because I think ours requires that the property is owner occupied,
Yeah.
and that's no longer allowed.
Yes, and the starter home has to be not seasonal or short-term rental. Has to be a year-round use.
Okay. So why don't I do this? Why don't I ask Rodney if I can send a note to town council to see what changes we need to do in our zoning bylaw because of the passage of the Affordable Homes Act?
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yep.
All
What
right.
do you call it, the affordable what?
The Affordable Home Act or the Housing Bond Bill, and it's going to be under the acts of 2024.
In tiny little pieces, you said.
That's just it's like, you can't get it, I can't
Yeah. I
get
know.
it as one
When
document.
you look at it, there'll be
Every
introduction,
section
there'll
is
be
on
a
a different
section, you can
page.
click on it, and they'll just give you that text in that section.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the neck with all the regulations that way.
Yeah.
Right. So,
go down to the commission and ask them to print it out for you.
This starter home lot unmerging is section 13. It says section 13, section 6 of said chapter 40A. So I don't know if it really
It's in
should,
13,
Section 6.
That doesn't sound right.
I'm sorry, that's what it says.
okay. And we'll be a little bit off,
That's
because
interesting.
that goes into effect in
Section 13,
February.
Section 6.
Well, I'm sorry, so it is,
5.
is probably section 13 of the amendment of chapter 40A, and it amends section 6 of chapter
Okay.
40A, so the way I read it now.
Okay.
It's just a quick regurgitation of all the changes, and the one that's highlighted is the one that I just read to you, I discussed with you.
I'm not sure if we haven't received anything from KP Law about, okay, so I know KP Law has put out a summary of this. They all do, all these
Yeah.
town councils. It just hasn't gotten to us, so I'll get that. And we won't make, obviously, October town meeting. We'll shoot for May town meeting, and the things go into effect in February 2025, so the poor building commissioner is gonna have this, like, quandary.
The starter home, the lot deseparation, the lot, adjoining lot, being classified as a single lot now.
Yeah.
Takes effect now.
Oh,
The
okay.
ADU portion of it is 6 months away. I believe it's not till January.
Yep, it's January, February. I've
Correct.
seen both
Well, that's what I
dates.
was told by another attorney on Monday,
Okay,
who worked on the legislation. That's how I found out.
okay. Thank you for bringing that up. That's a good reminder. All right. Oh, gosh, it's me again. Community Preservation Committee. So we have the warrant. I think there's only 2 articles from the CPC on there now. One is putting aside the 10% allocations into affordable housing, 10% into open space, and 10% into historic preservation. And then there's still one land acquisition, 275.
475.
475 Nathan Ellis Highway 151. I know that you were interested in looking at it. Did you see it?
No,
Okay.
either you or
Lynn.
Lynn were gonna send an email around.
Okay. And who was interested in seeing it? You?
What's that?
475?
No?
I was.
Oh,
And,
I'm sorry, Dale.
And
Okay.
actually set up a group text with the, is it the owner of the property, or, I forgot whoever it was that was gonna show us
Who is the
around.
owner of the
Amy
property?
Reagan.
Jamie Reagan, yeah, so.
Thank you,
I don't know,
Regan,
maybe
yeah.
if you weren't on it or
Regan.
not.
I didn't get it, so.
Yeah, it's just a matter of finding like a moment to get over there.
Okay, I'll make sure that, I'll get your phone number afterwards and make sure we have the right number for that text,
Yeah, it might have
that text thread. Okay. And Gooseberry Island was taken off the warrant.
Yeah, so it's,
That's, we ordered an appraisal of the property. So we have to wait for that. Okay, design review.
Yes, we finally had a meeting. Feel like the Maytag repairman going there, you know? It's the old Kenmark building at 340 Main Street, a business called Kids Cargo. And it was the old sign subject again. This is the sign at the street level. It's gonna sell clothing, toys, kind of like a variety store. He's got one over on Martha's Vineyard. It's got a different name, I believe, but he wants to probably close that one down and make this the main store.
good.
The signage is in line. The only thing was, the rule is on the sign that it has to be 5 feet from the end of
Oh.
the property line. And there was nothing that we could measure it, but he said it was, so we accepted it.
Now, that location was specifically approved as part of the special permit for that building. Which I think there was a planning board.
So you're
special
saying
permit.
that that 5 foot doesn't apply?
No, I'm saying that it must have met the 5 foot. I mean, it's been blessed by the town already, the location.
Oh, okay. And then this is the sign above the door. It's really nice, very nice. So
Cargo.
it was approved, so I guess they have to go through planning board, or not planning, but plan review, right? But there was no plan review the other day.
Okay, so Tom, are you doing plan review? No,
I haven't heard a word about it.
It's on Tuesday.
okay. Not his
9:30.
working day, okay.
Pardon me?
In the morning.
Yeah, he doesn't work on Tuesdays,
Oh.
so that's okay.
Yeah.
Environmental Oversight Committee.
We didn't meet since the last time, but Harbor Management Committee did meet. I know Evan used to provide those updates.
Do you want to give us
I
that
can
update?
provide it. Yeah, we met on the 16th. We continued review of the draft harbor management plan. We went over the dredging and navigation section. Also, we're going to be looking for an extension on the state approval process, like a 12 to 18-month extension. There's no negative effects for an extension. It's just more time for the process. Dredging and navigation section, there's a permit in review to dredge the entrance to Little River. Probably when it gets started, probably in 2026. And the town's also looking for funding to dredge Aquay Bay to put in a new town marina. So that's good news, I think.
That's really shallow water there.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is shallow, so,
how they gonna put a marina
That's the
there?
need to dredge.
Yeah, I mean,
dredging would
Jesus.
solve a part of that.
A lot of dredging. I mean, all the years they've talked about trying to dredge the Mashpee River, the big problem was where do you put the spoils? I mean,
Right,
that's
so,
contaminated bottom there too.
yeah, it depends on what the contaminants are.
Yeah.
I guess there's a site in Rhode Island that takes it. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So that's part of the harbor management plan, or just
That-
comes up in discussion?
That kind of came up in discussion. It's more discussion, but, yeah, that's it. That's all.
This reminds me, does anybody have an update about the hazard mitigation plan? Okay. somebody from the Cape Cod Commission asked me where it was, and the Board of Selectmen approved it, but then doesn't it go up to the state for approval?
No.
So, okay, I'll ask Rodney. All right, thank you. And I forgot to get the RFP, the sample RFP for the open space, but I have a reprieve because it didn't meet, so I'll get that. Let's see, Historic District Commission,
No meeting.
no meeting.
No, they'll have to
May I
have
say
a-
one thing I forgot?
Yeah,
Mary Ann Romero said there may be an October 1 design review. I'll be out of the area then, and I said that I didn't know that you're supposed to get somebody from the planning board. Let's say if I can't make it, for a reason, you have to get somebody to show up because we're short. I think we're short
do it?
somebody.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Would you
Just-
do it? So
I know the date, and
it would be October 1 at 8:30, but I'll call you just as soon as I find out. It should, tomorrow would be the day. I think the deadline is tomorrow.
oh, we are not sure if there's gonna be a meeting because you're not sure if there's
And I won't be
applications.
here. I
Okay.
won't be here for the October 1.
but I'll go.
But I will call you and tell you if there is a meeting or not.
Okay, thank you.
And it's a nice committee. It's just, you just have to look at the sign section of the bylaw. Pretty much signs.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Dennis.
You're welcome.
All right, so I just thought it was interesting about correspondence. First of all, there is a lottery for units at 533 Woods Hole Road in Falmouth. 4 two-bedroom apartments.
Almost 2,000 a month, though, that's,
It's even the affordable rents are sky high.
who can afford
They're
it?
sky high.
And you have to pay for your electricity,
Yeah.
and
Move to Pittsfield.
I try to get, when I do lotteries for people out of Yarmouth, I try to get the property owner to bring that rent down at least $150.
Yeah.
Because it's too high, but that's what the law allows.
Not bad for Woods Hole,
Right.
though. Place is a,
So, anyways, and then also there's something in here from Falmouth. Did you see the proposed zoning amendment? It's about non-conforming structures, uses, and lots.
there's about 7 amendments there, it's not just one, is there?
So anyways, you might want to read through there and see how they're dealing
We
with
could use. maybe we could
raise
use their
and
language.
replace. So, otherwise, does anybody have anything else to bring
make
forward?
a motion, we adjourn.
For a second?